Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today's a bit of a different one. We're working on the Nissan Note. The Note has already had reversing sensors, because that's what these are, fitted to it in the past by yours truly. I got a free kit off a relative who kind of didn't really have the nerve to be using a hole saw like this to drill holes in his lovely Golf. And so it was given to me, and I fitted it to the Nissan, and it worked great for a couple of years. It since subsequently failed, and I've sourced this one off the internet for, believe it or not, £11. It even comes with a little display, which hopefully we'll see working later. I have already dismantled a little bit of the Nissan to see what the score is from what I did when the old one failed, and unfortunately in my investigations to try and fix it, I've cut all these plugs off. So I'm going to have to retake off the bumper and fit these new ones. But that's good. It's better for the video because you get to see what it's like to fit one of these from new, including, you know, drilling the holes, etc., and removing the bumper. So that's what we're doing today. And the next scene will be me outside taking bits of the Nissan off to start the installation. Right, so this is the back of the Nissan. We've got tailgate open. What we first need to do is get this light cluster out. Because I want the sensor to come on when the car's in reverse, what I'm going to do is I use the 12 volts that go to the reversing lamp. When you select reverse, switches the unit on effectively, so I need to tap into the cable that makes the reversing light come on. That means that when I put it in reverse, the unit will be powered up and will start working. And then when it go out of reverse, it'll switch the unit off and it won't be making noise or flashing lights when we're just driving along. Now we need to take out two bolts, one here, one here. I've already had these out. This one is loose, and I already have a problem because the thread on this is pretty much, well, ruined. So I'm going to have to investigate getting some new bolts, or I don't know, tapping out that hole to another bolt size, but we'll sort that out later. So I need to take these two out, and then this whole thing pulls out. There is a long plastic nodger on the top of it which goes inside this front plastic fitting, which doesn't, it's like a reflector, it doesn't really do anything. So this will pull backwards and there'll be a big plastic bit on the front, and that'll give us access to here. This is a big empty void in the bodywork. This is plastic, and once I take this bottom bolt out, you can just pull this off and it gives us a place to put all the electronics. Okay, so the light cluster's off and you can see the big plastic bit on the end. That slots in that hole there. Now this plastic piece, you can see there's room in there for us to put all the gubbins. This actually does come off. You need to take the bumper off to get it to release. Now what we need to do is take the back bumper off now. There's a bolt there and a bolt there, and there'll be bolts in the wheel arches which I'll show you when I get to those, and I'll explain that bit in a minute. Okay, so we're now starting to remove the bumper. The first thing to do is inside the wheel arch at the top here, you need to pull away the wheel arch line, and what you can do is you can hook it behind this piece of plastic which is like a mud guard. Hook it behind there, and there's a 10mm. All these bolts have been 10mm so far, that's held about there, so you need to unscrew that, and then we work our way around. There's clips underneath the bumper, plastic clips, one in the middle, well, two in the middle, sorry, and then one on the other side. Take all those bolts out. There's bolts at the top which I'll show you, and then we should be able to lift the bumper back off. So you need to take the clips out. There's two in the middle, two at either side, and they look like this. What you need to do is prise up the center bit with a small screwdriver, and then, I know I've mentioned this before, if you've got a trim kit, you can then push that over the clip and lever it and it'll pop straight out. Otherwise you'll have to struggle with a screwdriver. So I've just got the screw on this side to take out. Once you've got that bolt out, or that screw out, the bodywork just pulls away. So there is, like on a lot of modern cars, you see this white thing, that essentially just grabs hold of the little holes on the top here. They push in onto little teeth, so you pull them off, and then when you're refitting it, we'll just hit that with the palm of the hand and it locks and grabs hold of it again. So once I've got the bolt out the other side, we should be able to lift this off the back of the car. I've unscrewed the little spats or mud flappy things. I'm not sure if they're holding the back on or not, but it's only 3 easy screw Phillips screws, so I'll just take them off, and now we'll see if we can pull the bumper off. Right, and it turns out my suspicion was correct, because underneath the spat on each side there's another crafty Phillips which you need to take off, and now I suspect it'll come off altogether. Right, and it's off. There are some clippy things there that grab hold of the top edge of the plastic. There's that to take out. It's a bayonet fitting, so don't mess about with this connector. Just twist that and take the whole lot out. Just leave it lying in the boot. This is now all loose. There's a big polystyrene piece in there, and you can see where I've previously fitted the detectors. It's just a matter of now of whether I can get them out cleanly to get the new ones in, I suppose. But I'll do that next. Right, so I've been taking these old detectors out. These old ones, I haven't looked on the new ones to see if they're the same, but they've got like little rubber wedges, 4 of them, north, south, east and west, and when they're stuck through the plastic, I'd actually put some sealant around these. I don't know if I'll do that again, but if you push down and then push on these little rubber wedges with the screwdriver to compress them, they pop clean out. So I've just got the last one to do, and then we'll get the new set and have a look how they fasten in. Okay, so these are the new ones, and guess what? They're exactly the same. These are slightly different on the end in that they seem to have a little hood over the detector, and on the back here it does actually have the word up with an arrow. I don't know if you can see that. So they need mounting with the shield at the very top over them. So I'm going to push all these in. They all look to have the same amount of cable. I'll push all these in. I'll tie up all the cables up so it's neat, and then essentially put the bumper back on. And then the rest of the work is in that little compartment at the back there. Okay, so when you're fitting these, you can get them so far in and then the rubber stops it. So what you need to do is work your way around and just press the rubber in with the screwdriver while pressing the actual unit into the bumper, and then it'll slowly creep its way in, and then just try and get them as tight as you can to the bodywork. It's a bit of a faff, but you can get them in, you just have to keep at it. So all the detectors are in the bumper and plugged into the little control unit that comes. It does say A, B, C and D on here, so I've done them in order of like A, B, C, D. I don't know if that's important or not. The next thing is the power. So the power lead I've joined to the original power that I got. So this is hooked into the reversing light, and I've just crimped that on. I'll tidy that up with some loom tape. So that's the power source, which I'm going to plug in the box. I'm going to turn the ignition on and put the car in reverse and then see if this works. Right, so I've quickly tested it, it does work. This unit comes with a little display. You can't really see it now, but there's like a in the middle here there is a number which is like 3 feet away, 2 feet away, and then either side there are little bars that go up and down, and it's got a speaker in it which beeps. Now I think you're supposed to put this like near your binnacle or behind it. I don't know where to put it. Do I put it like on the back partial shelf so you can see it? I could put it on the headliner, but then the numbers would be upside down. You'd still be able to see the bars and hear the beep. that might work. If I put it on the binnacle, I've then got to run this cable all the way through the car. So I'll have a think about that while I put the bumper back on. Okay, I fitted the little display on here. You get some double-sided sticky to stick it down, and the cable, you can just see at the side here, goes round and down, and I pushed it down the back of the bezel, down the back of the dash, and then behind the center console, and then I've lifted up the carpet, and it's routed down the edge of the carpet along the door there. Same with the back door, and then I'll show you in the back where I've put it. So when the ignition's on and you put it in reverse, you get, let me get closer, you get this little display of how far away you are and which side it is. So obviously there's something at the back there, and it's my wife's car, so it's definitely working. And when I go into neutral, the supply is cut off to the reversing light, so the unit stops, which is what we want. So in the back seat here, you can see I pulled the carpet away, just some plastic clips that fit under the trim, and it's here, and then under this bit of plastic trim here pulls away. There's a couple of bolts which you need to undo, but they're fairly obvious. Round the back, and then I've cut a hole the size of the plug. I'm going to tidy all this up with a file and put some paint on this just to make sure it doesn't rust, and then that's plugged into the unit. So now what we need to do is fasten that there, tidy up all these wires, put the piece of plastic trim that's here, there goes a safety record, and then tidy up and we're done. Right, some final tidying up. I've put the unit inside a plastic bag, and then I've taped all this up. It's only on for a few seconds at a time. I can't believe it's going to get overheated in that time, and I think the weather is what killed the last one. So I'm trying to keep the electronics away from any water for as long as I can. I've now got to fit this piece back in, so that hooks under the bumper at the bottom there. So I need to pull the bumper away and hook that through and get that. This light isn't actually screwed on yet, and that needs to hook under the light and then screw the light on through that hole. There's then another hole there for a bolt, and then we just got to like fit the spats at either side, do the clips under the bumper. So we're getting there. Right, we're pretty much done now. Lights back on with new bolts. All the gubbins is hidden in there. That's on. The bumper's on. Now the spats. When you do the spats, put this one in first. It's the second one down. Reason being, that one has got a captive spring on the plastic for it to screw into. You know, one of them metal clip things with a hole in? That one goes into the plastic, so does that one, and so does the one underneath. So always do that one first. It's the fiddliest one of the lot, and you might have to finagle it for a little bit. Once that's in, these go in easily. So we're pretty much done now. The interior's all tidied up. Where I've taken the trim off inside, that's all back together. And what a job that was. So, difficulty. Actually fitting the reversing sensors isn't that hard. And one thing I've glossed over, because they were already there, is drilling the holes. Now what I did, let me show you, when you get the kit, you get one of these to drill a hole to put the thing in. So what I did was, I put masking tape over the whole area, measured it all out and drew it with a pencil where to drill, and drilled with the tape there so it didn't scratch the paint. The hole saw that you get is incredibly sharp, and so what I did was I did equal distances sort of in the middle between the fog light and the reflector, maybe a little bit towards the fog light, and then the other one just the other side of each reflector, so they're all looking towards the back of the car, just slightly out at the sides. And this works great for us. Apart from the first unit failing, this is a great addition to the Note. I think you could have it done by Nissan, and I dread to think how much it cost. So I think that's about it. I'm hungry now and I want some tea, so I'm going to get washed. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, all that other good stuff, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.